Yeah. It's a bit cold tonight, everyone. Good morning and welcome back to the latest episode of B6 and Beyond. I think me and Cory are going to give you some morning content of talking about the West Ham game.
Get into it.
You are here with me and Cory, as I've just said, to talk about West Ham United and another 3 points for Aston Villa, another successful trip to the capital. And the Villa, just this winning momentum that we've got just keeps going on, doesn't it? Before we do get onto it, guys, I just want to let you know we do have the ongoing giveaway for either match tickets or a shirt of your choice. All that you need to do to qualify for that is hit that subscribe button. We give that away every 500 subs, and we are getting close to the next giveaway, so don't miss out. Make sure to smash a subscribe. And also, we do have a goal on this video. Look, Villa are on absolute fire at the moment, so let's go for 25 likes on the video. Smash a like on the video. We do appreciate all of your support, guys. Join the movement, man. We are flying, and the vibes are so good around the club at the moment. Personally, I'm absolutely buzzing with everything about the club right now, regardless of the performance again not being particularly fantastic in parts. I don't think we were bad, but it was a bit drab, I think, in the first half. I think first half, particularly, we didn't create anything to know. Obviously, we had the Rodgers shot from the corner of the box towards, I think it's like around the 45th minute mark. But apart from that half, the closest we come, obviously we scored. Just to let you all know, you don't need a fantastic XG to score a goal. But yeah, what was your thoughts on the first half, mate? What's your assessment?
To be honest with you, it seemed a bit like, for the first time this season, it seemed a bit like a European hangover. Just especially towards, obviously, Ben was there at the game. Unfortunately, I'm ill, so couldn't make it down to the capital. But I don't know about you, like especially towards the end of the half, it just seemed like all the players were like just completely out on their feet, and it worried me a little bit in terms of going into that second half. Obviously, the slow start didn't help. That's probably something we do need to get into, that sort of first goal, and a certain man probably not having his best performance in a Villa shirt, but listen, everyone has an off day, and it's very rare that Ezri Konsa has an off day. So I think that there was a bit of concern, obviously, after that first half. I was a bit worried that I was like, they're just not up for this game. It's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, we started slow. I don't disagree with you there. The goal that we did concede, honestly, we do not look. We have been following this wonderful football club for a long time now between us, and if we was to sit here and say that everything is rosy with Aston Villa and we never met things hard for ourselves, we'd be lying. We'd be lying dead in your face. So the fact that we conceded the first goal, we was 1-0 down. We got back for an own goal, lovely movement by Watkins. And then we've gone 2-1 down from the Bowen goal. Again, personally, I think Ezri Konsa was at fault for that goal. He should have got out a little bit quicker. Maybe a bit harsh, but I think he should have. And we go 2-1 down. So not only, and this is the bit I want to go on to and get straight into this piece, because we can sit here and talk negatives all day long until we're blue in the face. But what I really want to talk about for me is the mentality monsters that we are. Emery is building at Villa. Like, that's 3 away games on the bounce where we've been trailing and we've gone on to win the game. That's not anything to take lightly. That's impressive, very impressive. And you said it to me off air. So the piece you said about Morgan Rodgers. I'll hand it over to you, mate. You have the floor.
What was it I said again?
You've stitched me there, haven't you? No, when you were saying about Morgan Rodgers when he scored, obviously the goal, the second goal.
Oh yes, sorry, yeah, of course. Yeah, I was saying about obviously the game today and the game against Brighton. He scored the equalisers, both in times of the game where you say, listen, there's 45 minutes left. It was just before off. Sorry. Yeah, he scored 20 minutes in against Brighton, something like that, and then obviously 46 minutes in, 49 minutes in against West Ham, and you're thinking, go off and celebrate if you like. There's plenty of time. But it was that thing of, right, let's get the ball and get ourselves going. Sorry, it was Watkins who scored the equaliser against Brighton, wasn't it? But it was that mentality of, right, let's just get the ball and get ourselves going. We don't need to celebrate. We're not winning the game. And I think that's where there's been a massive momentum shift. We've gone to West Ham in the past, especially before Unai, where it was that thing of, if we get an equaliser against West Ham, we take as much time as we want because we just don't want to lose that game. Whereas it's a different mentality. We wanted to win that game.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? That's now 9 wins on the bounce. That's 9 wins out of our last 10 in the Premier League, I believe it is
Yeah.
now, which is just ridiculous stats. Well, honestly, like, I'm just going to hand it over to you quickly while I just pull up the league table because I just want to talk about where we are positionally. Honestly,
It's what,
honestly,
15 and 17 since the Sunderland game, if I'm not mistaken.
that's what you said to me earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
15 wins and
obviously,
17.
sat third on 33 points. Now, I said to you the other day, if we can get to around the 36, 37 mark by the halfway point of the season, that would be brilliant, absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant. We're only 4 points off that with 3 games to go. And that, yes, we have tricky games. But if we beat Manchester United next weekend, or as we're now, where you guys are hearing this now Monday morning, this weekend, that is massive. We'd be on
Yeah.
36 points already with 2 fixtures to go. That is like I'm putting it out there, Villa fans. I am confident that we're going to get Champions League next season. We will get Europe, the big games at Villa Park again, which is I personally can't wait for.
Yeah.
I really am looking forward to having that again at Villa Park. But we're sidetracking a little bit. It's hard not to get carried away. It's hard not to get excited because what we're seeing at the moment from our beautiful, wonderful football team is incredible. Like, I've never experienced this in my life. We've gone on spells of winning games in a row and getting stringing of run of wins together under Unai Emery. But I think this is better than anything we've seen in terms of like a run.
I think the key word, like you've said already, it is mentality. You look at it and say, previous years. I said on the podcast before the Arsenal game, I said the games I was worried for out of these next four were West Ham and Man United. I wasn't worried about Chelsea and Arsenal, and that's no discredit to them. I just know how Villa can play in games like that. We can perform at a higher level. It's those games where we usually sort of underperform. The West Ham game today could have switched off after that first goal goes in 29 seconds in. Didn't. Could have switched ourselves off when we went 2-1 down. Didn't. And then after that, listen, I've seen a lot of West Ham fans saying they're happy with how they played. I don't think they did a lot. I think they were happy with a draw. As soon as they got 1-0 up, they were sort of like, listen, we'll sit back. If Villa score, we can sit back and just keep defending. That's no discredit to West Ham. At the end of the day, they need points. They'll do whatever they can to get points.
Well, realistically, they didn't create a lot, did they? No. They didn't. The first goal come from a mistake from us, and then the second goal come from realistically poor defending from us. I would say, with all due respect, if Ezri Konsa gets out and gets back in line a bit quicker, yes, it might be harsh because he was running. But I'm sorry, but if he gets out a little bit quicker, we probably don't concede that second goal because Bowen might have got caught offside.
Well, even leaving, I think it was Freddie Potts, isn't it, who had the shot that Bowen deflected in. Just leaving him free on the edge of the box to have that shot.
Block it.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the key thing as well is there's players coming into games. I spoke about Maatsen in the previous podcast and how he's said, listen, I'm happy to step up when I need to. And I think there's one player who, my favourite player, who I need to talk about, and that is Victor Lindelof. I know Ben, like a lot of Villa fans, we were all a bit worried when he came in today, just about that thing of we're losing Pau Torres' energy to play the ball into the middle. But in a game where Ezri Konsa was really poor, Victor Lindelof showed his experience and stepped up and almost played for two. His defending was brilliant. His passing was brilliant. His bringing the ball out from the back, he was brilliant. It was
it's probably his best performance in a Villa shirt, if we're going to be realistic.
But that's the mentality side of things where Unai Emery doesn't bring players in just because we have to. At the end of the day, the only player from that window who Emery didn't want is clearly Harvey Elliott. The other two in Lindelof and Sancho, he's clearly seen something there that thinks that'll add to the team. And Lindelof's done that already. Sancho, I'm sure it'll come. I'm positive that after January we'll start to see some more goals and assists from Sancho. I think it's just that one game where he needs to click. Gesson's another one where, listen, he's not been performing well, but Emery wanted him. There's going to be something there where it eventually clicks, hopefully. But it is that mentality of players are waiting for their time. Maatsen's taking it by both horns. It wasn't long ago, me and you were talking about how Digne's sort of irreplaceable in that team, and now seeing Digne not in the team, you don't feel as worried anymore.
No, I don't. I stand by. I don't rate Ian Maatsen as much defensively as Luca Dean, and I get a bit more concerned. Yeah. I thought Bowen had him on toast a couple of times today, and I'll say his best performance for me in Maatsen was against Arsenal last week. I thought he was fantastic against Arsenal, but I do get concerned with Ian Maatsen, and I think that's a right thing. Nothing wrong with that personally. I just think Luca Dean has been performing at such a high level since Unai Emery has come in. It's natural to see a bit of a drop off because Luca Dean has been fantastic. The fact he's 33 years old and he's back in the France team as their starting left back, that's incredible. Like, that just shows the level that he's performing at. But regardless, so was there any standouts that you want to talk about today? Because personally, I think we really need to, for me, have a chat about Morgan Rogers because yes, he scored 2 goals, but he was terrible at the start of the season. He was terrible at the back end of last season. But over the last, I don't know, couple of months, maybe 3 months, give or take, maybe start of September, something like that, or a back end of October, he's definitely improved his performance levels and he's gone up another level. He's been brilliant recently. And, I've seen people digging me for saying about, we should sell him, but I'm not the only one. A lot of Villa fans were saying it. Ultimately, he wasn't performing to the level that we know he can perform at. And realistically, I do feel like he potentially did have some sort of offer over the summer that he could have through his. That's how it looked, and that's how I perceived it. And ultimately, I don't want Morgan Rogers to leave Aston Villa if he's playing as well as he is. Ultimately, I want the best for Aston Villa, and any Villa fan that comes towards me and digs me out for it, I am in the exact same boat as you guys. Like, I want Villa to win the league. I want us to win the Europa League. I want us to win the Champions League next year. Fucking hell, if we was in it, I'd like us to win the World Cup. I literally bleed Villa. That's all I care about is Aston Villa winning anything, not to get the violin out. But it just annoys me that there's like this perception that I don't want Villa to win because of a slated Morgan Rogers. Look, if a player hasn't played very well, I think it's more than we as I don't say journalists because we're definitely not journalists, but social content creators, as per se, we are well within our rights to talk about what we are seeing on the pitch from our players. Like, with all due respect, there's one player I will speak about who's performing poorly, and he has been poor for the last couple games. He was crap against Arsenal. He was crap today again, and he was crap before the Brighton game. And you'd probably think I'm going to speak about Ollie Watkins because I am. I thought, apart from the movement for the goal, the equaliser, I thought he was really poor again. It's that knee. That knee there's got to be something in that. Albeit he may have had a goal today if it weren't for the. Do you remember? I don't know what it was like on the TV, how it looked on the TV, but from the stands, Kamara had that ball in the centre of the park when we nicked it, and then we was on the counter, and he could have played in Watkins, and he's played a terrible, terrible, terrible pass. What did that look like on the TV? Because from where we was, it looked, if that was just in front of him, he'd been running onto it and he could have had a strike at goal.
Might have missed that one. I'm not going to lie. I don't recall off the top of my head. The one I thought you were going to
First half.
Yeah, I thought you were going to mention the one in the first half where obviously quick counter-attack, got it into Watkins, and then Watkins slowed everything down and let all the West Ham players get back and then gave him on the edge of the box.
He could have been in front of him, though, for him to run onto it instead, but he played it right into his feet, and it was a bit under his feet, and he had to slow down. But if it was played ahead of him, it was on the right-hand side of the box, and he was running into. He could have been running into the box. The ball should have been played ahead of him. And Watkins could have ran onto it and had a dig, but it weren't. It was played right into his feet, and it was underneath his feet. It was a crap pass by Kamara.
Was it the quick counter attack that you're on about?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, sure it was.
Okay. I was going to say, if that's the case, from what I saw, it looked like it was a decent ball by Kamara. It just looked like Watkins tried to slow things down, took too long, tried to do that thing where he cuts in, took a heavy touch. And to be fair, it was a terrible pass by him, but Kamara just sort of stopped and threw his arms up and let West Ham attack. But obviously that's different perspectives. I think obviously in the stands it might have looked a lot worse. There is something that needs to be spoken about with Ollie Watkins, though. You are right. Listen, if he has got this injury, which obviously he clearly does, but at what point do you... I get it's a World Cup year, but at what point does he have to say, like, I just need to take a month out or something just to try and let that knee repair itself? Because he's not going to get to the World Cup at the moment.
Oh, no, he's not going to the World Cup. I think we need to be realistic. He's got absolutely no chance. I think we need to start thinking about whether we look to buy a new striker in January, to be honest with you. Look, if we can look, it's hard. It's a real difficult one to say, and I don't want to shoot myself with the foot with what I'm going to say here, because ultimately we're winning these games, and we're winning these games with Ollie Watkins in the team. So the fact that he's not scoring, but he's still in that Unai Emery system, Unai Emery way of playing, shows that we are doing something right with him in there. I just think personally, if you can get someone else, another option who's going to give you more and give you a goal for it, it could give us a completely another dynamic that could push us on to why not win a league title where we are now. Look, at the end of the day, if we get through the next 3 fixtures, we say 2 wins out of 3 at least, you're looking at a position we could be going into the new year. Wow, within a title race.
Yeah, it's such a weird one, because like say, if we had an Ollie Watkins that was firing, I think a lot of people would take us a bit more seriously in this
Of course they would.
race situation. Because
Villa fans, do us if you are here and you are listening, you've made it this far, drop us a comment and let us know your thoughts on the situation. Obviously, what it is a real divisive. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
It's a divisive topic that a lot of us do like to talk about a lot, and everyone's got a different opinion on it. I'd love to hear from some of you in the comment section just to let us know what you think. Would you look to buy a new striker in January? Would you look to sell Ollie Watkins? Because obviously, me and Cory, we're not experts. We're just fans of the Villa at the end of the day. And we'd love to hear from more of you to understand what you think. While you're there, drop a like on the video as well if you've enjoyed it so far. So, what would you do personally, Cory?
It's such a difficult one because he's clearly not willing to have the surgery he needs. And the issue is, if he's not willing to have that surgery until he finds out about the World Cup squad, respectfully, what's the point in having him here? Because he's not offering much. He's slower than he normally is. Okay, fair enough. Like he did get to that header first today against Mavropanos and flicked it onto Mavropanos, and it's gone in that way. But again, that attack where obviously you say Kamara's pass looked poor, but again, he's still slowed it up. There's so many times he's done that where he's slowed it down. Did it against Arsenal a couple of times, and you're thinking, Ollie Watkins of a year or two ago, he does his little step over, digs it onto his left, gets a shot away, that sort of thing. He's not even getting shots away anymore, and that's... But again, like we said at the start of the season, and it still is the same, even though this Watkins isn't firing, you can't guarantee you're going to get someone in who's going to be hitting the ground running.
Mate, I can't stand John Duran. I can't, because I personally feel like he was a loose cannon. He was bad work, bad news for the football club, and the fact that we got 77 million euros for him cashed in on him was fantastic. But that mould of striker, young, fast, direct, someone who's going to take a risk and take a shot. If we had Duran now, but Duran who's not a head case, and Duran who's going to put his head down and do his job, like the Duran that was on form, where could we be right now?
Yeah. That's. I mean, listen, we don't want to talk too much about John Duran, but that is his biggest problem. Like you look at Fenerbahce at the moment, he's got 3 goals in 30. Everyone's like, oh, imagine if we had Duran. It's like, well, he's averaging 1 goal in 4 games at the moment, so he's not exactly setting the world alight in.
Oh, no, look, Watkins was a better player than him anyway. Like, I'm not going to say that like Watkins isn't. I've had this argument with you a couple of times over the podcast about, I think Ollie Watkins is a much better footballer than Daniel Marlon in terms of what we need for the role. But I just think we need someone of that sort of mould that he's gonna learn from Unai Emery, like a young 22-year-old forward who can take the reins.
Yeah. See, the thing I've seen is linked to the Garcia, the Real Madrid striker.
I'd like it, mate. Go on.
I was going to say the issue there is, again, he did brilliantly in that Club World Cup. There's no denying that. But for me, it feels like it's a risky. It's like when people sign people based off a World Cup. You know when like Amrabat went to Man United because he had a good World Cup. It's like you're taking a big risk on a player who
he's not old though, and he's also
21.
Yeah, and then also the fee isn't very big, so I'm led to believe.
The issue is if he comes in, great, but he's going to be an understudy for a little bit of time, just like Duran was. Duran, obviously, it took him a season to sort of hit the ground running. We need someone who's going to come in now and just say, right,
yeah, fair enough.
I'm putting the ball in the back of the net. But again, who do you go for?
He's only 15 to 18 million euros. He's valued at, which is nothing in hindsight, is it really?
Not at all. I mean, the one thing I will say is, and this is in Ollie Watkins' defence, and there might be people who disagree with me here, is this season it does seem like he's having to make a lot of his own chances. Like, when you think about it, like, I don't know whether it's the movement from him or what, but he's not getting the ball in, like, finishing positions. You look at all his goals he scored this season, so he's obviously got 3 goals this season. All 3 goals, 2 against Brighton and the 1 against Fulham, have come from his movement and the ball being into him. We're expecting an injured Watkins to do what he did a couple of years ago, where he's getting the ball, driving at someone for 15 yards,
dropping a yard,
and having a
yeah.
shot. It's like,
can't do
that
it.
was great when he could do it, but he can't do it at the moment. And we are one of the lowest teams in creating chances. That's why this what's it
XG account.
Yeah, this XG account is class for us, but I mean, overall though, we'll get back to the game because obviously we've spent a good chunk of time there talking about Watkins.
Yeah, to be fair, but I think we've covered a lot of the game, haven't we? We've won again. Ultimately, it feels like we're just going to win every game that we go into at the moment. And personally, I'm looking forward to the Man United game now. Like, I've got traumatic memories of Manchester United and the way that have just completely bossed us, and over the years and years of my childhood. But we've got to beat them this weekend, haven't we?
We've got a bit of a rest as well now, which should help us massively. Because, like I said, there were certain players today who, again, we've always said on this podcast, we'll call players out if they're not performing. I thought Onana was really poor today, kept giving the ball away. Tielemans didn't look great in the 10. He looked better in the 6, I thought, but didn't look great in the 10.
Got on the ball a bit more and dictated play, mate. I think that was the best move we could have done in that game, because as soon as he went into the 10, in the 6, sorry, or 8, whatever you want to call it, he definitely started to get his foot on the ball a bit more, and he was having an impact. And I think that's why we started looking a bit more threatening going 100%. Forward.
Konza obviously had a poor game himself.
I stank, didn't I thought Matty Cash was all right.
I was just about to say, I think his first half was probably one of his worst performances, because Somerville was ripping him apart. But that second half, after he got that yellow card, I thought he was brilliant defensively.
But I think Somerville, like, Somerville for me, he's one of them wingers on his day. He's a proper on his day player, because on his day he's fantastic and he can do that to a fullback. But I thought Cash did well, man. Like, I thought Luca Dean was good when he come on. I thought Maatson was okay, stroke poor.
He reminds me of a not as good version of Bertrand Traore.
That's wild. That's rogue. That is Traore.
And what I mean by that is, like you say, on his day, he's a player who he's so unpredictable. Even Somerville doesn't know what he's doing. Like, the amount of times he beat Cash today because he tried to step over and miskick the ball. Like, he didn't know what he was doing. He just does it. And that's how Bertrand Traore used to play.
Right, I think we've spoken enough about the game. We'll leave it there. Villa fans, stay tuned for the rest of the week. We will have more content coming out ahead of the Manchester United game. Brilliant day, brilliant day again at down in London for the Villa. We seem to have this habit of going to the capital and winning, which is a real positive note, isn't it? When we've got 2 trips to the capital coming up before the new year, and we've got Manchester United at home. Why can't we make it 3 out of 3? The Villa.
The Villa.